let's just talk about one, okay? The destroyer. Think for just a minute. Some of you just need to take a breath, wake back up, and think for a second about this destroyer. This destroyer is talked about in Exodus 12, 2 Samuel 24. Paul mentions him in 1 Corinthians 10. He shows up as the leader of the monsters of the pit in Revelation 9:11. His name is the destroyer. In Hebrew, Abaddon. In Greek, Apollyon. Pause for a second. If you play video games enough, you'll run into those names. Those are favorite gaming names. Boy, if I knew anything about God, His Word, and what He says about demons, I would never play a game that named the creatures in my cartoon gaming world after the most malicious, malignant, powerful, wicked creatures in the universe. That's one of the dangers nowadays. Gaming has taken over people's minds. It's become a habit. It's become something, an addiction for some of them. I was speaking at Cedarville in Chapel and took one of my kids with me, and they stayed in the dorms, and they said, Dad, they said the guys were up till 3 a.m. playing their gaming stuff, and they couldn't wake up for classes. And I thought, their parents are paying $30,000 or whatever to send them to Cedarville, and they're playing video games till 3 in the morning and can't go to their 8 o'clock class? Do you think they have time for this? Do you think this is very interesting if you are heavily involved in playing with Abaddon and Apollyon? Do you understand what I mean? It's amazing how Satan is disarming Christians. Okay, let's talk about the destroyer. What did the destroyer do in Egypt on the night of the Passover? God took him, allowed him out of the pit, and God said, you can kill the firstborn of every male child in every home, and you can kill the firstborn of every animal in the stable, and back in the pit you go. Now remember, the angels know who's in charge. They always are limited by God. So God let the destroyer out. The destroyer came to Egypt, surveyed Egypt, entered every home, knew who the oldest male child was, and killed him in their bed. Silently. Now think about U.S. Special Forces. We have the 7th Fleet and the 6th Fleet off of Israel's coast right now. We could do that. Think about it. Take a DNA, quick recovery group, set up shop, big tent, all kinds of electronic microscopes and swirlers. Go take DNA samples from every person in a house, fly back the tissue, do a genetic study, find out genetically, because DNA does clicks, and you can tell who's the oldest person. They have the most clicks. That's how you can tell how many generations something has been. Find the oldest one, male, and eliminate them. That's terms that they use for special forces, eliminate. Do you know how long that would take? It would take hours to fly there, collect, sample, test, come back, re-identify, eliminate. This angel did millions of people, surveyed them, and in one night wiped out the firstborn. Plus, he was limited by the doorway. Here's the doorway of every house. Here are the houses. Here's the door. And the Lord said, I want you to take blood and do the lintel and the doorposts. The lintel is this part. It's the framework. So you would put blood on the frame and then the doorpost. Most people, if you think about it, the easy way, if you're in a hurry, you take your blood brush and you'd go whap like that, and then whap like this to get the lintel and the doorposts. You wouldn't, paint like this. You're scared to death that your kids are going to die in the coming time. So you would, as fast as possible, get the blood, get the hyssop, get both doorposts, and get the lintel, and look what it makes. That motion would actually make a cross. And that destroyer came across And every time he saw a blood-marked doorway, he skipped that house. Such a picture of salvation. Why? Because God is greater than the sum of all he created. All the angels, all the humans, all the universe. And only God can protect from the devil, the destroyer, demons, and hell. This is what Peter said. Younger people, by the way, that's you in this room, submit yourselves to your elders. Yes, all of you be submissive to one another. And be clothed with humility. Look at how much humble and humility, how close it is to Satan and the devil. Do you understand? Satan is drawn to pride, he's drawn to rebellion, and he feeds on that. So how do we get protected by God from the devil, the destroyer, demons, and hell? Verse 6, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. Cast your care on him. Trust that he knows what's going on. Your adversary, the devil, is going around like a roaring lion, seeking to devour. When you meet a Christian that's totally, in the ditch, they can't serve the Lord, they're afraid, they're angry, they're bitter, they're defeated, they're whatever, Satan just devoured another one. How do we get out of the ditch? Resist Satan. Steadfast in the faith. Clothe ourselves with humility. Paul put it this way in Ephesians chapter 6. Be strong in the Lord. That name, the strong tower, the righteous run into it and they are saved. The power of his might, not mine. Put on the armor of God. Stand against the wiles of the devil. Look, all these principalities and powers and all that are against us. What do? Take the whole armor. Withstand, stand. Gird your waist with truth. Put on righteousness. Shod your feet with the gospel of peace. Take the shield of faith. Resist the fiery darts of the wicked one. Wear the helmet. And the only offensive tool, all the rest is defensive, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. My question to you is, are you protected for the daily battles? Are you wearing your Kevlar, your body armor? How do you wear body armor? Well, how did Jesus do it in Matthew 4? Satan came and attacked him, and what did Jesus say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God. It's important to have your intake. That's why every day with you, I do my devotional journal. I look in there for the Word of God. I pick one part of that Word of God for that day, and I prayerfully ask God to clothe me with Christ, with his armor, so that I can be protected from the daily battles. Why? Because tomorrow morning when you wake up, aliens are lurking around ready to attack. Demonic enemies more lethal than terrorists or murderers or hardened criminals are waiting for you. They have flaming arrows ready, and they will watch for the exact moment to shoot that fiery missile into your mind. Are you ready to deflect the missile? Or will you have another horrible, defeated, empty, restless, discouraging, and sad day of defeat? That's the choice. That's the cosmic war. Satan's plan is to shoot his fiery darts. The attacks on humans are led by the serpent dragon named Satan, the devil. He is a person, and his singular focus is to be the adversary of God. The devil named Satan continually bombards God's children with flaming arrows of immorality, hatred, anger, covetousness, pride, doubt, fear, despair, distrust, and every other temptation. And every temptation, either directly or indirectly, tries to get us to doubt or distrust God. That's what Satan started with Eve. He said, did God really say that? Does God really know what's best for you? Remember when Satan was tempting Eve? And she listened to him and did not resist him. That's the cosmic war, and that's what Isaiah tells us we need to be prepared for.